Do you know the best deal in town, folks? Do you? It's a ride on the CTA, and here's the deal. With this little card, this little reduced fare card for seniors, any senior can ride anywhere on the CTA system for $1.25. That's right, folks, $1.25. Is that a deal or what?
It's a deal.
I mean, a Hershey bar costs $1.79. And it's a win-win for all concerned if you're going into the loop, especially. Have you priced that lately? It's a money savings for me, and it's also good for those of you who are driving, because old people like me are off the road. Makes you want to do a happy dance, doesn't it? And there's so much to learn and appreciate on the CTA. I like to call it lifelong learning. So this evening, I would like to tell you about my recent learning experience on the CTA. And first, a little foundation to my story. If you're a frequent CTA L rider like myself, you know just where to stand on the platform to get into the precise L car you want, and you know exactly where to stand to be able to enter that car through the entrance you prefer, the front doors or the back doors, with nary an extraneous step in the endeavor. So one day recently, it's afternoon rush hour, I'm waiting on the Roosevelt Road platform for the green line, and I know just where to stand for my L experience. The train pulls up and stops, and I do exactly as planned. I enter the first car at the front doors, and as is my custom, when I enter, I immediately look to the back of the car. The L car is empty. And I'm thinking, well, this is unusual. I mean, it is rush hour. And then I hear it. This extremely loud, like I'm in a disco loud music coming from in back of me. So I turn around and I see these two older African American guys sitting in the front of the car. And I say older because they each had some graying hair like myself. And they're sitting across the aisle from each other and singing along with the original artists at the top of their lungs and in perfect harmony. I couldn't figure out how one of them, holding only a cell phone, could get that kind of volume out of his phone. I mean, I can't do that. And the tune they were singing was certainly Motown style, but I didn't recognize it, so I'm thinking it didn't cross over. Anyway, I sat down just south of the car's front doors, and when the tune came to an end, the two guys turned to look at me, looking like, what is she gonna say? I think they were waiting for a complaint. So I gave them a thumbs up, and I called out, if you play Motown from the 60s, I'll sing with you. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The three of us are singing Motown hits with the original artists at maximum volume in pretty good harmony, you know, if I do say so myself, on the green line heading west to Harlem. If you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. Get the idea. We get to Adams and Wabash. Crowded platform. The doors open. No one enters our car. We're still singing. You can't hurry, love. No, you just got to wait. She said, love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. Good for you. We get to Washington and Wabash. Crowded platform. Doors open. No one enters our car. We're still singing. Whoa, good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it, say it, say it. We get to Staten Lake. Crowded platform, and a handful of people, a few brave souls, enter the car and take their seats. We're still singing, and they're pretending they don't hear us as they intensely look at us. We get to Clark and Lake. Yeah, folks, it is rush hour after all. People are coming into our car at Clark and Lake, and we're still singing. Now this is where the magic begins. All those commuters on the L, you know what I'm talking about, the old and young, black and white, brown, males and females, all on their way home after getting out of school or work, start singing with us. It's a regular day camp bus. At Morgan and Lake, a 30-ish woman gets into the car calling out, "No violence in this car," and starts singing with us. "Baby, baby, I'm aware of where you go. Each time you leave my door, I watch you walking down the street, knowing your other love you meet. This time before you run to her, leaving me alone and hurt. Think it over, haven't I been good to you? Think it over, haven't I been sweet to you?" Okay, Ashland and Lake boarding commuters are taking their seats next to the DJ and calling out titles. What about Sandra Smile, The Temptations, Cloud 9? I couldn't believe how many people in that L car knew these tunes and were all singing along, even those kids born long after these songs were hits. Just past the Kedzie station, the train came to a screeching halt between stations. The CTA rail operator comes out of the train's motor cab and looks extremely irritated and calls out, "You all have to keep quiet now." And I responded, sotto voce, but we were all having such a good time. And the DJ stops the music, all the singing stops. The rail operator walks over to the doors and pulls that red ball overhead to force the doors open. And holding that radio to his ear, he walks out onto the elevated tracks. Absolute silence as we all try to figure out what's happening. Our rail operator returns and without explanation or a second glance to the riders, goes back to the front cab and the train starts up again, and so does the music and the singing. Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. At Laramie, our DJ was singing, and his singing partner exit, waving farewell, and amid folks waving back and calling out thank yous, and God bless yous, and fond goodbyes. So the music stopped, but the commuters then were all chatting with each other, like at a class reunion, like at a gathering of old friends, animated, familiar. The no violence in this car woman is a mom. She was telling me that she was on her way to Rush Hospital, Oak Park, to meet her son as he got off of work. He had just graduated from high school and got a job there. She was meeting him so that he wouldn't get into any trouble on the way home. All you out there know that this can only be done if both parties agree, the son and the mom. Aren't we all concerned about our children and do whatever we can to help them be successful? Don't we all have similar hopes and dreams and concerns for our families? Aren't we all more alike than different from each other? This is just one example of the lifelong learning that the CTA happens to offer. Similar experiences are waiting there for you. And if you are old enough, you too can experience these kinds of adventures and more for just $1 and 2 bits on the CTA Senior Reduced Fare Card.